All right, all right, and all right. What we gonna do? No, really, that's too much. Too much, too much, too much. I gotta say, I really, really, really appreciate the applause. Really. Well, where in the world have you reached? You have reached the collision of faith and politics. I'm about to hit the check this out. You know what I'm doing, right? You guys know, if you've listened 100,000 times, you know that I am speaking the chat. The purpose of the chat is to type and not speak. But for some reason, I am compelled. I am compelled to say the words that I am typing in chat. Yes, that is correct. I have done that, and I will always do that because I may or may not have a problem. I think you know that. Of course you know that. My goodness gracious. Hey, listen, thank you so much for joining us. You have reached the collision of faith and politics with the Ninja Pastor, and I am here rocking and rolling for y'all. Just got back from Tucson, Arizona. Really, really awesome place. Going to talk about that a little bit. And the Michael Strange Foundation. We've got a great opportunity to work with them today. Not today. No, not today. Today, we had a great opportunity to rest a little bit. I had to do some stuff, had some stuff get done. Paul Campanella's Tire and Auto in Wilmington and Pike Creek took good care of me and did some stuff on my truck. My F-150, the White Stallion. No! Easy now. It's not what I call it. Not out loud. Anyway, people are sending me messages saying, what in the world? Well, that's okay. It can be what in the world. Ain't no big deal. Ain't no big deal. But hey, this is what we do. This is what we're about. And we get down here and we do a little bit of talking about stuff. But first we're going to do this.
Dr. Greener returns next.
No, come on. I don't return next week. I hope to return. Now, that's our open. It's supposed to be our open. It's our close. But we are working on some tech stuff, and we are super excited about it. We are also working on met a guy, and you meet the neatest people at these Gold Star events. I mean, sincerely, you meet some really, really neat people. And I guess I'll skip ahead. Why not? Well, let me just tell you first, because I want to do this justice. By the way, I'm going to read a letter that's going to make you cry. So if you're riding around, listen to this. Keep your tissues handy. It will make you cry. I'm not going to lie. That rhymes just in time. I will read you a letter that'll it'll make you cry. It will. It's some real stuff. You'll love it. It will break your heart, but it will be beautiful at the same time, and that'll be cool. I'll do that in a couple of minutes. I promise. So I started to say as soon as we opened up, to tell you the truth, it's one of those things. Today's a weird day because I'm kind of missing Tucson. If you know what I'm saying, I'm really missing Tucson. Hello, upstate New York. How you doing? You lived in Tucson, 6970. Mount Lemon. That's right. I had a great view of it. My good friend Michael Quinn. I'll talk more about him and his work with the Michael Strange Foundation. Just unbelievable time. And the people of Tucson could not be more welcoming. We happen to have an event. If you follow me on the Facebook, at the Ninja Pastor on Twitter, wherever else, I'm all over the place. But if you follow me on Facebook or a friend on Facebook, you will see a bunch of videos shot with my iPhone. Apple doesn't give me a dime for saying that, but I'm Not going to lie, I do use iPhones. And I shot this little video inside this place, American Legion Post 36. I got to tell you, man, what nice people. And I'm going to plug this band because they're awesome. I'm kind of going backwards here, but I don't really have a script. I think y'all that know me know I don't really have a script when I do these shows, so I just kind of do it myself. Once the man starts paying me to do this, I will. Oh, good. Posts and pics were great from that. Awesome. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Once the man starts paying me, instead of me paying the man to do this show, then he can start telling me what I'm going to say and how I'm going to say it. But anyway, so I used my phone and I did some videos, just quick Facebook lives and stuff. Nothing real fancy. And man, oh man! But this band called Two's Company. And you'd never know this by looking at them or listening to them, but they are 80 years old. They're each 80 years old. And they're really, really a super treat, man. Such fun. My face, I'll tell you the truth. Now, this is the truth coming at you here. We promised you we would always deliver the truth, and this is the truth. My face hurt from laughing so hard and so much. So hard and so much. I mean, really and truly, it slayed me, for real. They were so funny that this lady caught on that and I also have my regular cameras there too. As you see the pictures, I'm trying to compile them and make them into an album. Then we'll post them on Facebook, which will be linked to Twitter and yada yada blah blah blah. And I'll probably put them on Instagram too. I never remember that darn Instagram. I have 23,000 photographs, and I don't ever. I don't know. I got to start remembering that Instagram. I understand it's a pretty powerful tool, but I certainly don't use it the way it's intended. That's for daggone sure. But anyway, so I'm there and I'm looking and I see this lady, this musician, 80 years old, all dressed in their patriotic finery. And I got to tell you, man, I couldn't believe what I saw. I look up and she's holding up this little 3x5 card that has written on it with Sharpie, "Will work for sex." I kid you not. Will work for sex. And she's grinning. She got this, like she swallowed a Cheshire cat. And she she holds this thing up. And then as I raise my camera up, she puts it down. Then she sees I put my camera down. She holds it back up, got this grin on her face. I'm telling you, it was hilarious. It was so funny. I mean, seriously, so funny. Well, their music was phenomenal. I mean, they played, they played all kinds of fun stuff, but they're really good musicians for real, and they're funny and fun. If I lived in the Tucson area, I would have to check them out. Seriously, I would go hear them play. They're that much fun. But you'll see me videoing all the gold stars and some of the folks at the American Legion. They have, as you might imagine, Tucson is where a lot of people go and retire, and because the climate's so beautiful and it's dry, it's easier on your bones. But there were some folks there that were in their late 90s, and they were cutting it up. And but all the folks were so welcoming and so nice to us. I tell you what, I can't say enough about the American Legion Post 36. They're just phenomenal. Really, really great people. And that Two's Company as a band was great. So I mentioned it already now a few times, Gold Star Families. And you know that this show, there's lots of things that people try to get us to I don't want to say promote, but they want us to help folks know about. And Gold Star Families are the thing that nobody had to ask me to do. Really and truly, I got to tell you, they're near and dear to my heart. And what a Gold Star parent or family member is somebody who is killed in actions, a close relative, primary relative, father, mother, son, daughter, husband, wife, that type of thing. And they have a soldier die in overseas and while in combat for us, die while serving. And I got to tell you, people ask me all the time, well, how in the world did you come to choose this particular, how did this happen? I mean, how did this come to you? And I know many of the Gold Stars just because of the connections I have and the people I'm friends with. So it is one of those things that's just near and dear to me. It's just a natural near and dear to me thing. And so we met all these great people, and I'm telling you, you couldn't ask for better folks. You really couldn't. They're amazing people that, they're regular people, and they're, they raised heroes. This was all parents. Parents and a couple of aunts. That's how I say it. That's right. I say aunt. Um, I don't know. It just, for whatever reason, they're a group of people that have just kind of been forgotten about, quite frankly. Not too many folks know about them. By the way, this week, for whatever reason, I've received 27,361 emails. Media Matters and all those people are just bombarding me with stupid stuff. Well, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say, oh, okay, yeah. A week and a day. So 8 days. So, if you sent me an email and I didn't answer it, I hope you're not mad at me. But I don't think I'm going to get to it today. So anyway, I do appreciate your email, so I'm not making light of that. It's just they're all the time trying to bust my email and bust my website, all these different groups. They really love to just mess with you, It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, to be very honest with you. It's just a little bit aggravating. And so I have been let's see here. All right, somebody sending me a message. All right, gotcha. It's nice of y'all. Nice of y'all to reach out to me. I really appreciate it. I've gotten some such nice notes, but we also get a lot of hate mail, get some death threats, and hey, that's all right. It is what it is. A lot of times, hey, Alaska, my friend is, I meant to tell you, my friend is in Sitka. In Sitka right now. So she's a good friend from the police department days, and she's up there now, and we wish her the best. We know she'll be great. We know she'll love it. Good girl, good cop, good person, good friend. And so, anyhow, all that said to say this, that Gold Stars, they're regular people. I mean, they live a regular life, whatever their life was like before their child dies or gets killed in combat or killed in service to the country. They have to, in addition to dealing with all of this stuff, they have to go on living. They have to find a way to go on living. And it's hard. It's a super tough thing because, your kid is usually killed under, your loved one, I should say, your loved one, is killed under circumstances that a lot of times you just don't know. Hey, Jerry, welcome. Nice. You just sprung Carson from CHOP. God bless you, Carson. God bless you, all of y'all. What a wonderful family you all are. Everybody here that's a friend of the show knows that we pray for Carson Sellers and for his whole family and awesome, wonderful people. It's they're amazing people. Amazing people. So these people have to find a way to go on living, and it's not as easy as you might think. Really and truly, it is not as easy as you might think. You might think that it's just it's okay. You get over it. I will tell you that I don't like to hear that when people say stupid stuff. It gets on my nerves when I hear people kind of blow stuff off like that. It's ignorant. That right there is ignorant. That right there is ignorant, as we might say it down my home folk. Nobody I don't think so. Anybody. I shouldn't have said my home folk. Folks that I know from down home. And so they. Yeah, no problem. Bryn Sellers, BrynSellers.com, BrynSellers.com. You want to read some powerful stuff and work on your faith with somebody who's going through it, man. That's the one to go. That's the one. So, anyhow, all that said to say this, they're living real life. They're going through life trying to do the best they can, and then all of a sudden they lose someone really close to them in combat or in service overseas to this country, wearing a American flag on their shoulder, and I have to tell you that it isn't easy. Their child dies a lot of times under suspicious circumstances. I won't say suspicious, but circumstances that maybe aren't divulged fully. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Maybe I'll put it that way. Maybe there's circumstances where they're killed in a crash, aircraft crash. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But there's just so much. There's just so many things that they complicate it. They make it strange a little bit. They make it hard to work through some of it. So all of a sudden, this makes me mad. This really makes me mad. I wasn't going to say it, but dadgummit, I can't help to say it. I'm going to say it. I can't stop myself. This situation going on with the 4 soldiers, the 4 Army Green Berets, the one all the stuff is stirred up over, and the other 3 are forgotten. And you're right, Alaska. You're over the target when they are spamming you. They don't have the guts to come out from behind their keyboards. Well, what I'm fixing to tell y'all in a few minutes is you'll see that they are willing, and they do sometimes cause trouble and protest my speeches and different appearances and stuff, ignorantly so. We'll talk about it. I'll give you the details on it. But the bottom line is these people are just trying to get by, and then all of a sudden they lose their soldier, and people will say, well, they knew what was coming to them. Now President Trump did a kindness. I mean, he called the Gold Star families, the wives or whoever was listed, and called them. And then now there's this allegation that he wasn't very nice to one in particular. And what's frustrating is, I fight racism. I've been accused of being a racist this week. I've been accused of being a bigot, homophobe. I can't think of what all else. I mean, you name it, I get called it. Unjustifiably so, Anti-Muslim. And the thing is, I'm not anti-Muslim. I'm anti the Muslims that want to cut my heads off. I'm anti-Muslim that they want to drive over me or my friends or my family with a truck. I'm anti-Muslim with the Muslims that want to harm our American way. That's bottom line. That's what I like. You want to be peaceful? You're going to be peaceful? I'm down with that. There's a whole lot we can say about that. But the bottom line is, the president contacted this dead soldiers killed in combat. God bless him. And I don't know what happened in between, but I know there were people there in the room with the president that said he in no way, shape, or form disrespected. In fact, he did very well in a very difficult circumstance. But for whatever reason, they want to make it something stupid and make it something political, make it something racial, and it wasn't. It wasn't any of those things. None of those things. I'm very confident of that. It's just ignorant. It's just ignorant. And it's sad that the mother or the wife was drawn into this. I don't believe the president did anything untoward. I think the president probably behaved completely appropriately. In fact, all 3 of the others that were killed, which you don't know their name, not much being mentioned about them, but they all said, what an honor to have him call at this terrible, terrible time. What a blessing to have this man contact us and be so kind to us. And we really are touched by it. Really touched by it. Well, but then you have one other that says no. He was rude to me. He didn't even remember my husband's name. He didn't. He said, well, he knew what was coming. He knew. They made up a bunch of stuff. And folks from Florida, seriously. Whew, this cowboy hat wearing woman, representative, I don't know what you call her. I don't know what's wrong with her. She dresses like she's going to a costume show every day, a costume party, like somebody's having a costume party. I mean, I love, you all know I do a little bit of singing and I do a little bit of preaching and speaking. I love going to when I'm invited, and I am invited to lots of black churches and lots of black organizations. So this whole racism crap is bull. Um, and they love me. They're all the time trying to feed me, and they're just amazing people. Well, all that said to say this: that when I'm there, sometimes I'll sing a little bit. We'll get a little singing going on. I cut my teeth on gospel music, and I really like it. I love the people. I don't know why I even brought that up. I should move on. I only have 2 hours. I might not even do all two, but here's the thing. There's so much going on. But listen, this woman, I know what I was saying. You go to a black church, you better be prepared. BRYN, BRYNSELLERS.com. Yep, Supernatural Furniture Buy. That's right. That's Bryn Sellers' thing. I love promoting that, what she's doing. It's amazing what she's doing. Anyhow, this, you go to a black church, a predominantly black church, they're going to be dressed now. They're going to be dressed. They dress. They look good. They're not fooling around. Serious business. They want to get in it to win it. And that's how they do. That's just how they do. It's their thing. And I don't begrudge it. I like it. Their heart's in the right place. They want to do their best for Jesus. I'm down with that. Amen. All y'all too. Amen. And I appreciate that. And I love being there with them because they're amazing. They're amazing people, and they're fun, and they give me feedback while I'm speaking or preaching. They give me Representative Wilson, $10 hat on a 50-cent head. Oh, good lands. Sanford Butler on Twitter. I love his retweets and all. Woo, he makes me laugh. Sanford Butler. Y'all ought to follow him, Sanford Butler. He's awesome. While you're at it, follow me at the Ninja Pastor. Anyhow, so look here. This is Ooh, you're killing me, Sanford. Come on now. That is not right. So ooh, laws of mercy. Let me read that again. Representative Wilson, Frederica Wilson, is wearing a $10 hat on a 50-cent head. So I was talking about the sisters and the brothers, how they dress up in there, and I love it. I love it. They know I love it. They'll make fun. A lot of times they will, if they know I'm going to be there and I've been there before or know somebody else, they'll do it up extra. They're like, "What you think?" And I have to give them a rating. I'll say, that right there that's seriously solid worship clothing right there. And so, I enjoy them and they enjoy me. It's all about it. And so, but she doesn't look like she's going to church. She looks like she is going to a costume party. I mean, for real and for true. I don't know what's going on with this lady. Hey, let me try this. I didn't test out this tea. My son made me some tea. He made me a little snack too, tuna fish. Whew, my lands, that's hot. I don't know how you get tea. Maybe some of y'all can help me with this. I don't know how you. Now I can't even get the top off. I let it cool off a little bit. Dadgum. Whew. Somebody help me. Well, anyway. I'm going to take the lid off. Let some of the heat escape. Oh, you know what it is? I have this. This has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. I have this tumbler. Has the United States Navy on it. I'm a Navy veteran. But this cool tumbler I got while I was with Jerry from Pennsylvania. And we were at an outdoor show. Every year we go to these outdoor shows together. It's kind of our thing. And they had these tumblers, and they had one that I thought my son would like, American flag on it. And they had this other one, had United States Navy on it. I was like, ooh, get me some of that. And it's supposed to keep your stuff hot for hours and keep your stuff cold for a day. I mean, I'll come back. Look, I'll put ice in this thing and, water, whatever I'm drinking. Whatever my libation is. I'll put that in there, and maybe I won't drink all of it, and I'll come back to it a day later. Oh, there's my drink. Come back to it a day later, and there it is. And the ice is still ice. I mean, it hadn't even melted. And then the hot stuff, whew, it will light you up. I mean, it just keeps it so hot. So I'm going to take the lid off. I know y'all are caring about that. You know what's crazy, though? I like a lot of honey in my tea. I do. I like a lot of honey in it. Hard to get out of that thing, the thing that we have, but, anyhow. But so anyway, I love going to these black churches and all, and I love the people. I love preaching to them because uh, you get a lot of feedback, and I don't know, speakers love that. I love it. I love it when they give me feedback. Um, it'll be stuff like, I'll get going at it. Preach the word. They'll do like that, and they'll say, bring it. You know, or stuff like if I read a passage out of nowhere, I'll be reading the passage, and I like to read dramatically. Like if I'm going to read scripture, I like to read it, bring it, and they'll say, what this one guy say one time? I had to stop, and I got right down off got right down off the, what do you call it, a stage? I don't know what you call it, but from behind the pulpit. I don't stand behind much very often, but so I come down. I had to go down and give him a high five. So this fella, I finished reading the scripture, and I'm sure that they've heard it like this before, heard it read like this before. But I read a passage of scripture, and then he just out of nowhere, he said, say the word, just like that. I loved it. I went and gave him a high five. I had to give him another high five before I was finished. But I love the feedback, and I love the people. Now, no offense to anybody out there, but black folk and white folk eat different kinds of food. Deal with it. Listen, one of my best friends, I have two best friends in the world. One of my best friends, God bless him, Eric Rickards. I love that dude. He is going to his reward. He and I are the same age. He was just died in July after a long, many-year battle with cancer, and he told me on many occasions. He said, Sean, you're more black than I am. You got more black in you than I do. And we used to laugh about that. And we would go out to eat a lot, and he'd say, yeah, we're brothers. I'm the white one. We're brothers. I'm the white one. And no, he's saying that. I'm not saying that. He's saying that. And I would look at the waitress. I just love to look. I guess we're not supposed to say waitress anymore. We're not, are we? I guess we're supposed server. I don't like that. That sounds worse. I like waitress and waiter. That sounds classy and elegant. Server. You're my server. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. That's one of those things, those politically correct things that backfired a little bit. It sounds worse than it used to, the other word. Well, anyway, the food. We need to stop tripping on what's good and what's not good. Black folk can eat some seriously good food. For real. Any of you out there, can you get an amen up on this? I love going to black churches and black organizations. Yes, they do invite me. And I love it when it's food time. I'm going to tell you this right here. They expect me to preach at least an hour, hour and a half. Seriously, they do. They expect me to preach at least for an hour, hour and a half. For real and for true, they do. And if you don't preach for a good long while there, they do church later. And they're sweating. I mean, there's usually no air conditioning in a lot of them. And it's hot. I mean, hot up in there. But you get your sweat on, get your detox on, because you're fixing to eat some collard greens, some mixed greens. I like it when they mix the greens together. You're going to get that. You can get, if I'm down south, I'm going to get me some black-eyed peas. I'm going to get me some good food. Except for okra, folks. God bless me. Pray for me. I can't make okra. I cannot make okra taste good. That's the one thing I won't eat. Cornbread, ooh. You go to a black church, you're going to get some good cornbread. Kind of melts right in your mouth like candy. All kinds of stuff. Man, you get all kinds of stuff there. Those green beans, I know I'm going to get amen on this. How many of y'all like those green beans with the onion crispies on top? Those crunchy things on top. And it's got like a soup or something you cook with it. Green bean casserole, somebody said. Yeah. Oh, so good. Now I'm hungry. I could eat. And a lot of times we'll have fried chicken. No, that's not a racist thing. Ain't nobody makes better fried chicken than black folk. Everybody knows that. Why don't we admit this? Why is this ignorant to do that? It's not ignorant. It's not racist. It's not culturally appropriating anybody. It is what it is. Oh, yeah. Somebody said with bacon. Amen. So it's not cultural appropriation. I'm respectful. I love these people, and they love me. And so I love going there anyhow. I got off on a tangent. That can happen. I don't even know why. Who in the world knows how I got on black churches? But this Frederica Wilson must be the reason. I'm telling y'all, there is something not right. She's just not right. and the folks in her district keep electing her to send her to Washington, you ought to be embarrassed. For real and for true, you ought to be embarrassed. Seriously. I mean, it's nothing like I've ever seen. And it's not just because she dresses like a clown. She does dress like a clown. She acts like a clown. Listen, it don't have nothing to do with her being black. Back off. Nothing to do with her being black. It has everything to do with her demeanor and the respect for the institution of Congress. And she looks a fool and she acts a fool. And when she opens her mouth, she proves it. You know, you might be a little on the fence, not quite sure. Is this woman a fool or isn't she? She looks kind of funny. She acts kind of funny, and then she opens her mouth. She dispels all rumors of her being at all reasonable. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, come on now. Gold Star family's got enough to deal with, and now she's messing around making some politics of it. I still haven't figured out how it is this woman heard President Trump's call. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I really don't. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to make it up. I don't know what the answer is. So I don't know how she came to know, but I will say this. She's made a mess of this, and she's made a mockery of a very serious thing, and for political gain. But it's not political gain, quite frankly. It is not political gain. It's ignorance. It's just gross. It's gross and it's unseemly. It's disrespectful to all the other soldiers. And I'll tell you what else it is. It's disrespectful to those 3 other soldiers who their names aren't mentioned, but they've come out and said, yeah, the president called me and he was nothing short of wonderful. And for a moment, we were so excited over the president calling us and being so kind. The one wife said, yeah, he even asked to speak to my kids, and they loved it, and I loved it. And for a moment, it made it easier. And he was nothing short of gracious and wonderful. And I never felt at all disrespected. I thought he was wonderful. That's the reality, folks. That's the reality. I have friends that protect the president and protect First Lady and Barron, and I can tell you, I've not heard one thing out of them that wasn't glowing. Seriously, not one thing. Anyway, this show will have to be about 4 or 5 hours long if I don't hurry up and get on this. Now, Craig has revealed something. Craig from New York has revealed something that I didn't realize was out there yet, but I will go ahead and repeat it now. The Gold Star wife, who is part of all this, has been a family friend with Frederica Wilson for a long time, since she was 11 years old. And she calls her auntie in private. So there's some of it. So, you know, more about that will come out. I didn't want to release too much of it, but apparently it is out because he just told me what I knew. So Craig has got his finger on the pulse, as always. Anyhow, you all know that these Gold Stars they're just near and dear to me. And when I started this show, I don't remember how long ago it was because I have a brain injury, bumped my head on a car. I just said from the beginning, listen, I will always shine a light on Gold Stars. I will always shine a light on their great sacrifice, and they're just, this is a hard way to go, man. It's a super hard way to go. So let me do this in all sincerity. Let me do this. I'm going to read the names of the fallen whose families were with us this past weekend at the Omni National Resort in Tucson, Arizona. Staff Sergeant Darrell D. Casson, killed in action 3/4/2007. Private First Class Sam Huff, killed in action 4/18/2005. Specialist Thomas Harold Bird, killed in action 10/15/2005. Specialist Nathan L. Spangerberg, killed in action 9/8/2009. Lance Corporal Matthew J. Dieterman, killed in action 5/19/2015. Chief Warrant Officer 3, Robert C. Hammett, killed in action 6/24/2008. Specialist First Class Thomas L. Avey, killed in action 3/29/2015. Sergeant Alexander Funchin, killed in action 4/29/2007. Staff Sergeant Christopher A. Higdon, killed in action 5/22/2007. Corporal Robert Leon Jones, killed in action 6/17/2006. PFC Ryan J. Hill, killed in action 1/20/2007. Specialist Cale Darren Clay, killed in action 2/13/2010. Lance Corporal Christopher Scott Folks, killed in action 9/10/2009. Corporal Mike D. Anderson Jr., killed in action 12/14/2004. CTR-1 Michael Strange, killed in action 8/6/2011. PFC Robert A. Worthington, 5/22/2007, killed in action. Warrant Officer 1 Joel P. Hawker, killed in action 9/3/2011. Sergeant Joshua A. Tomlinson, killed in action 5/18/2010. These are real people. These are real people. And they really are gone while in service to this country. The fact that they're being politicized is absolutely, these people are not being politicized, but I can tell you this situation with this representative, Frederica Wilson, she is absolutely politicizing it. She is absolutely politicizing this. And it's wrong. It's completely wrong. Oh no, President, somebody just sent me a message. I'm assuming I don't see this number in my contacts. We have over 12,000 contacts in our phone, and I do not see. I do not see this person's name in my list. Says, oh, I won't read what. Next thing you know, I'll be getting sued. I don't have anything to get, so you sue all you want, I guess. Just makes me mad. President Trump, I'll say it. Trump started all this. Well, first of all, it's President Trump to you. 45th president of these United States, elected duly and freely despite massive cheating. And that's something that I was going to talk about in detail, but I decided I'd wait on it a little bit. The revelations yesterday, today, and Monday about who was behind the dossier, we now know. People are hiding. People are in fear. By people, I mean the Clintons and others. Oh, you better believe I hope they end up in jail. Well, I think Eric Holder has a place there. But President Trump didn't start any bit of this. No, he did not. Not a bit of it. He has no fault to bear here. He did. Not all presidents. Listen, President Obama didn't call people. You know? I'm just tired of it. Man, cannot get a break. Doing great things, cannot get a break. Beats all I've ever seen, really and truly. All I've ever seen. Anyhow. I met some great people this weekend. They're gold stars. They're the ones. This is a club nobody wants to join, folks. Nobody wants to join this club. There's no prize for it. But I have to tell you. Oh, by the way, I do want to bring to light something. I make friends at these things. I'm not going to lie to you. It's very difficult, right? I'm being painted as a hater, and racist and a bigot and a homophobe, all these other different things by this group. I'm giving a speech. Here's the deal. I'm giving a speech on Thursday in Lewes, Delaware. It's called a CannaTalk, and it's going to be held at the American Legion Post 17. If you're going to be near, come out and see us. If you're a protester, you better stay home because you're going to be kept out. It's private property. You don't have your First Amendment right there. You're not invited. Stay away. Little 11-year-old girl. You've heard her mother, Jay Madler. Is her mother. Wonderful lady doing amazing things. Her little girl, Riley, amazing story. 11 years old. This sweet little thing. 11 years old, trying to help veterans, trying to help people with medical cannabis, and we're going to talk about our experience with it, and I'm going to talk about my experience with helping veterans with PTS. I don't say the D. We're going to talk frankly about that, and I'm going to relay some things there during the speech that I think are going to be powerful for a lot of people. Anyway, the point is now they've come out and they're trying to bully. There's no other word for it. Bully and threaten this dear lady, Jay Madler, and this dear little girl, Riley Madler. Because it's Riley's foundation that invited me. This is a sweet little girl. I'm telling you, you Google her on the internet. I'm telling you right now, you'll fall in love with this little thing. She's just as sweet as she can be. And cannabis saved her life. And she just wants to help people by having these CannaTalks. I'm telling you, it's just amazing. These people are amazing people. And they give out their home phone number and their personal information, bullying them, threatening them. Now go to my Facebook. Facebook.com/smgreener. Go to my Facebook and look there, and you see the letters that they've written, threatening and all that stuff. Unless you dismiss them too easily, it only takes one to tell the wrong person, come on, let's protest this thing. I mean, they don't have a huge following. I get more emails in 10 minutes than the following they have all year. So I don't care, this whole social media ranking and how many people follow you and how many listeners you have and all this stuff. I don't care. What I care about is a little girl who's now being scared. Yeah, they gave out her email, her phone, and all this stuff. They did all of it. It's terrible. It's absolutely egregious. It really, really is. Well, I'm going. I'm proud of Jay. She's, and I'm sure it was difficult for her to allow me to go. Now, she knows me. She knows what I am and what I'm not. She knows all about it. She knows all about it. At some point or another, we have to stand up to these people and say, no, we're not going to tolerate it. You're not going to bully us. Listen, if you disagree with me, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. Somebody asked me, well, you don't have any liberal friends? Yeah, I do have liberal friends. I have lots of liberal friends. Many. I have many, many liberal friends. Believe it or not, I have many, many black, liberal, gay friends. And they love me. And I love them. I don't want any harm to come to them. None at all. That's not who I am. That's not what I am. But they called me racist, and they called me, anti-Muslim and anti-this and anti-that, and made all kinds of names and stuff, and then threatened that it's going to be a stain on Riley's foundation, Riley Smile, by having me there at CannaTalk. Well, I'm not there to talk about my expertise in other areas. I'm there to talk about cannabis and veterans and my personal experience. That's the bottom line. I'm not there for anything other than that. We offered them the opportunity to, Jay asked me, she said, would you be willing to talk to them? I said, absolutely, I'd be willing to talk to them. Heck, I'll even buy them lunch. But you know what? They declined. Well, I don't want to meet him. I don't want to spend any time with him. Why? Maybe you're wrong. It's high probability of it. You don't get a lot of air in your mama's basement using your mama's internet to spew your hate, your bully. Fascist, Nazi, they called me all kinds of stuff. We killed Nazis. What movie is that from? Somebody tell me. We like to kill Nazis. Anybody know what that's from? Somebody, bring it on. Somebody in chat's got to know what that's from, what movie that's from. We like to get about killing Nazis. I know my son knows who it is. He's on the road. He can't type it out, but anyway, it was a good movie. Good movie. Super liberal guy playing the lead part, but ooh, it was a good movie. I could watch it over and over. Anyhow, Inglourious Bastards. There you go. Nobody wins the red pickup truck. I was going to give away a red pickup truck, but yeah, sure. Kim in chat says the love the lack of tolerance that they show. Listen, if they're all for free speech as long as they're the ones speaking freely. They're all for it. You see the problem with that, don't you? But anyway, they're going to come out and protest me. They say they're going to disrupt and do all this stuff, and they're out on social media trying to get together a little army. Come out and mess with me. I'm there to bring good. Now, the folks this weekend, they would tell you that I am absolutely not a hater and an awful guy. I'm not any of those things. Not any of those things. But whatever. You know, you may disagree, but if I disagree with you, you cannot call it hate. It's not accurate. Doesn't fit their agenda. Exactly right. So I met a lot of great people, and I met this fella who is a musician. His name is Bob Huff. He's also a retired Tucson Police Department. 28 years maybe. Long time. He's been a police officer. He was a police officer a long time. And his daughter, Sam. I know, you thought Sam was a boy. Nope, it's Sam. It's not Samantha, it's Sam. Sam Huff was killed in action. Yep, that's right. Girls die in combat too. And it's very difficult for a daddy to lose his daughter, I can tell you. 4/18/2005. Very, very, very difficult. Well, Bob is he's a musician. He's an excellent musician, and his daughter Sam was a phenomenal flautist. She played the flute, and you should see this young lady. Beautiful girl, beautiful, beautiful girl. Long, beautiful hair. 18 years old. 170th Military Police Company, 504th Military Police Battalion, 42nd Military Police Brigade, deployed from Fort Lewes, Washington. She was buried with full military honors at Arlington National Cemetery. Killed with an IED. He's a musician as well, an excellent musician. And so he did this CD, and one of the things he does is he travels around giving these darn things away, these CDs, gives them to the Gold Star families, and gives them to Navy people and Army and Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, all that, and gives it to them. At his own expense, yeah, exactly at his own expense. It's terrible. Terrible expense. My goodness. But he does it because he wants to reach out with some positive music. Sam is actually on this album. He took recordings and weaved them in or wove them in to the, it's just amazing. It's called Sun and Moon. Y'all get that? Sun and Moon. It's crazy, right? You know what that spells? Sam. How powerful is that? That's real powerful as far as I'm concerned. And so he does this the way that he does it. He does it on his own dime, but my goodness, folks. Maybe you could go to iTunes. It's on iTunes and CD Baby. Now, I don't know what CD Baby is, but my friend Lala Deaton, she's all the time talking about CD Baby. I've never seen it. I've never been to it. I don't know anything about it, but I know you all probably know. But go to iTunes. Everybody knows what iTunes is. Go to iTunes. You can buy it there. And that money helps him give away to soldiers and to Gold Star families. He gave everybody at the workshop a copy of it, and I listened to it, and I think it's fantastic. I really do. You all know I love music. There's all kinds of different music on there too, but it's all excellent. Very well done. Very good guitar player. And there's a kind of a famous guy on there. His name is Herb Allen. He's on the album with him. You'll love it. You'll love it. I encourage you to do that. Bob Huff, Sun and Moon, and lost his 18-year-old daughter in combat. So who all did I meet here? I met some great people, some really, really great people. Spent some great time with them. Each one of them, they're all fantastic people. And I love them. I meet these people, I don't half want to leave, Not just because we were in Tucson, Arizona, it's beautiful. A beautiful resort, the Omni National resort there. It's not just because of that. It's because some of these people are just... You can't help but love them. You cannot help but love these people. They're good people going through life. And Charles and Marianne Strange, I'll tell you, they could have done a lot of things. They could have done a lot of things with their terrible, terrible grief when Michael Strange was killed. And they're going through it now. I mean, it's difficult. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday battle. We all kind of gather together and we create a family and a group where we share love. It doesn't matter what color you are. Doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter at all. It still breaks the heart of every family. And I'm going to tell you something. Breaks my heart every time I go. Somebody asked me, I said, man, how can you do that? How can you put yourself in that position intentionally? It seems it's like it would hurt. It does hurt. It absolutely does hurt. Let me tell you. It hurts real bad because these are good people. These are wonderful people. Honestly, you can't help but to love them. And I do it because they're worth helping. The Michael Strange Foundation does something different. They, yes, it's all expenses paid, and God bless the people that help us. We need help. We need help. If the Gold Stars knew what a what a magic act goes on behind the scenes to get enough money in to bring these people in and have them be able to just not worry about every doggone thing for just a little while and just focus on healing. And they have me come out and I do the grief counseling, and I wrote an ebook. And if you're out there and you are going through this, please send me an email or a Facebook message. If you send me a Facebook message and ask for Living Through Grief on Purpose. It's an ebook I did. I give it away. I don't charge anything for it. I'd be happy to send it to you, post haste. But I don't know, Charlie, as we call him, Charlie and Marianne and geese are literally, you might hear the geese flying literally right by my window. They're flying literally right by, same height, 3rd floor, flying right by my window. It's the coolest thing. I love watching it. Sorry to interrupt, but it's worth seeing. Well, I have to say, they did something with their grief. They didn't just fold up. Now, some days you feel like folding up. Stuck in the house. Can't leave the house. You can't go to a grocery store and some person is up there talking about something stupid. Some inconsequential thing, and you think to yourself, what in the world is wrong with you? My kid is dead. My spouse is dead. My father or mother is dead. And you're fussing over being mad about some stupid thing? Come on. Or somebody complaining about America. Boy, that's a hard thing to hear. I'll tell you right now, this mess with the NFL is ticking me off. And it's ticking these Gold Stars off too. Many of them did videos, and you'll be seeing them in the upcoming future. Upcoming indicates future. I mean, I don't know if you know. But you'll be seeing it, and they'll be telling you. America's going to know how Gold Star families feel about this disrespect of the national anthem and the flag. NFL. I wish that stood for not for long. I mean, it does stand for, they'll tell you, NFL players will say, well, you play in the NFL, it stands for NFL, not for long. Most of them don't have a very long contract. This is dangerous, very physical job. It doesn't, you're not, it's not something you do for a long time. Michael Quinn, I'm telling you, this guy is an executive, very successful businessman, very principled man of great faith. You know, Charlie and Marianne, people of great faith, and Michael and him, I won't go into how they met and what all happened, but it was funny. But it turned into a friendship and working together to help build this organization. I'm telling you right now, they're good people. They're good people. So we do this thing, and we go out there, and I deliver the grief counseling. I'm privileged to do it. And I become friends with these people who have suffered. Many of them have lost multiple children. Bob lost his sweet, dear daughter at 18 years old, and then lost his wife shortly after that. Now he's remarried to a wonderful lady. God bless her. But my goodness. Some of them have lost several children. Some of them, you know, the terrible grief ended up causing a divorce. Family rifts. They got to find a way through. Well, the Michael Strange Foundation, they find a way, somehow or another, beg, borrow, and steal, to get them there. A beautiful place. And then we have these intense times, Friday night, Saturday all day. Saturday evening, if you go to Facebook, you'll see cutting the rug a little bit, letting off some steam, and then Sunday we button it all up. I'm telling you, it's powerful. But yes, it does. Sanford Butler just replied, my father was buried at the Presidio. My mother was handed a folded flag. I was 10 years old. I have no patience with these NFL whiners. Amen, brother. And I am sorry for your loss. Serious business. And yes, it does take a toll. I feel stuff. People think I don't feel stuff because I go hard at some of these different topics, and I don't back down. I will not back down. I'll die in the fight gladly. Gladly. You got the wrong guy if you think I'm going to veer. Bring it on. Moulin Labe. But Strange, Charlie, he and Marianne just plowed through and fight through every day. And then with the help of Michael Quinn and you know, I won't say the other volunteers because I don't have their permission to say it on the air, and I wouldn't want to violate any of that. But let me tell you something. A greater bunch of volunteers you've never seen in your life. Seriously. You have never seen a better bunch of volunteers your whole life. They're unreal, man. I just don't know if I have ever seen more giving people. And they're regular people too. Working, you know, week to week, paying their bills. They're taking time off from their jobs. And they work the whole time. I know Bob and Millie, I won't say the others because I don't have their permission, but Bob's a listener, Philly Bob, and Bob and Millie and the kids were there working hard, helping out. It's just amazing. Tireless, man. These people are tireless, and they're working people, hard working people, but they do it. But man, when we see these gold stars, whew, it's worth it. I'm telling you, if you can help people who genuinely and sincerely deserve help. I want to read a letter to you, and then I'll move on from this, but I want to read a letter to you that was handed to me at this event, the Michael Strange Foundation Grief Workshop, Tucson, Arizona, at the Omni National Resort. No, they're not paying me for it, but as nice as they treated us, I got to say their name. Might only be 3 or 4 of you listening at this point anyway, so. Now, these dear sweet people, I did ask them permission. Charlisa Shar and Michael Dieterman. Lance Corporal Matthew J. Dieterman was killed 5/19/2015. Whew, this gets me, man, just looking at it. Pre-reading it, just... Whew, I didn't even think about how hard this would be to read on the air. This letter... Well, let me give you a little bit of information here first, probably make more sense. You know, whew, their son gave his organs so that several other people could live. Organ donor. Whew, folks, this, man, I hope I can get through reading this. Man, dadgum, I didn't expect this. Anyway, May 25th, 2016. To the family of the person who gave me lungs and life. I have waited to send this letter until some time had passed since the loss of your loved one. I send it now in the heartfelt hope that it will bring some comfort by conveying my deep gratitude for the gift of life I have received. This is a story of almost losing my life and by a miracle of generosity and kindness, having it restored. About 3 years ago, in March of 2013, I was hiking with my dogs in the Berkeley Hills and experienced an unusual shortness of breath while climbing a hill that I would normally ascend with ease. I reported it to my doctor and started a long journey through diagnosis, disease progression, and loss that occurred over the course of 2 years. I went from being a healthy 47-year-old man to someone who was mostly homebound and needed assistance in most aspects of my daily living. The airways in my lungs were collapsing rapidly. With each additional loss of lung function, I lost some part of my life, my ability to shower and dress, my job, walking my dogs, cooking for myself, the experience of enjoying nature, singing, dancing, going out with friends, enjoyment of food, so much. My life was profoundly diminished, and eventually my lung function reached 14% of normal, and I was one infection away from death. On June 5th, 2014, I was listed with the UCSF Medical Center to receive a double lung transplant. I spent a lot of time researching lung transplant and learned all about the potential complications, both in the surgery itself and post-transplant. It was a very frightening prospect for me, so much so I considered entering hospice and allowing my disease to take its course instead. I dreaded the lifestyle changes that transplant would involve, such as limitations on the types of activities I could do and having to take up to 40 pills a day. But as I got sicker and sicker, all of those fears melted away as my instinct to live kicked in. I was ready. Finally, on May 22nd, 2015, I received the phone call letting me know that there were new lungs waiting for me. Your loved one's lungs. Matthew J. Dieterman, Lance Corporal, United States Marine Corps, killed in action, 5/19/2015. I rushed to the UCSF, and when I arrived and sat down in a wheelchair, I felt an amazing sense of peace, and I surrendered into a complete state of trust. 24 hours later, I awoke in the ICU with new lungs. Still completely at peace with my circumstances in spite of all the machines and the ventilator tube supporting my breathing. The care received from the team at UCSF was amazing. The very next day, they removed the tube. And I took a deep, deep breath. I felt like a baby taking its first breath. It was the sweetest, fullest breath of my life. Later that day, I took my first walk. I was out of the ICU in 2 days, and after a total of only 10 days in the hospital, I was released into my restored life. In spite of all my fears about risks and complications, I had none to speak of, very little pain or discomfort, and went home reawakened to the world. I'm single with no family on the West Coast, so I had to rely on friends to take care of me for 6 weeks, helping me with the meds and getting me to frequent hospital appointments where the team of UCSF monitored my progress closely. The whole experience was a process of increasing awareness of what generosity and kindness there is in the world and how profoundly interdependent we are. My lung function has gone from 14% to 140% of normal. One of the first things I did after a period of recovery and healing was to return to the same hiking trail where I first realized I was ill. And I climbed that hill easily with ease. A true miracle. In the year since my transplant, I have been blessed to be free of infection and rejection, and I have experienced no significant complications. The lifestyle changes that I was so concerned with pre-transplant have been easy to adapt to. My 2 years of sickness has receded into an unpleasant blip. My health is virtually what it was before I got sick, and this past year has been glorious, in spite of the challenges of recovery and readjustment to being healthy again. The experience of transplant has given me not just a new relationship to my health, it has shifted my ideas about what is valuable in life. I am committed to helping others face transplant and post-transplant life in whatever small ways that I can. And I've changed careers from working in the technology world to writing a book in which I plan to share my experiences of sickness and transplant. Writing this letter was a great challenge as I struggled to find authentic and heartfelt words to show you just how grateful and blessed I am. It was not just the gift of life that I received through the experiences of sickness and transplant. It has been the gift of learning about gratitude, generosity, compassion, and open-heartedness. I have grown and have been transformed by everything I've been through, but especially by the gift given to me by a stranger as they passed from this world. In deepest gratitude, Rob. P.S. I would be delighted if you respond to this letter. I would love to learn more about your loved one, but please know I have no expectation that I will receive a response, and above all, I hope you decide to do what most promises to bring you the most peace and solace. Sometimes you have to take a little quick step back. Sometimes you just have to look at life like Rabbi Abraham Heschel. Something sacred hangs in the balance of every moment. Life. Giving life. Isn't it amazing? I look at these people that are trying to stir up so much controversy surrounding my speeches, and this one in particular in Lewes, Delaware at American Legion Post 17, 6:30 tomorrow evening. And I think to myself, we can laugh about it. We can kind of chuckle them off and say, oh, well, But I don't know why they chose to make so little of their life. They think of themselves as social justice warriors. Well, I don't use the word warriors because you know what a warrior is? A fellow that gave his life and gave his lungs and other organs. Those names that I read, those are warriors. And yes, girls can be warriors too, but these people, they're not warriors. Keyboard commandos. They go and they gin up support for their dirty things that they do. And among their friends of like-mindedness, the same paradigm, they are considered heroes, but they are not heroes. They are not warriors. We had a name for them in the military. I can't say on the radio. I'm sure some of them and some of their friends are listening to this show. I see where they've clicked on and, oh yeah, we have Matrix and all kinds of things going on here. We know where you are and who you are. We know all about you. And I'm not going to do the same thing that you did, where you put out a dear, sweet little 11-year-old girl, her email address and her phone number and where they live and all that. No, I'm not going to do that. But I know it all about you. Every bit. You'd be shocked what I know about you. I'm not going to do it. And I'll tell you why. Because that wouldn't prove to you anything. The sad part of you is that you are so stuck in your twisted paradigm. I'm as anti-racism. I'm as anti-bigotry. I'm as anti-fascism. I don't believe in harming innocent people. Yes, I'm firm in what I know. Not what I believe, but what I know about radical Islam and the primary sources of radical Islam. I've studied it for decades, intensely, the last several years at the doctorate level. I've been face to face with it. What have you done? You have a neighbor or two, or maybe you're a volunteer and you work with some Muslims. You say they're the nicest, sweetest, kindest people. You know what they said about the hijackers, don't you? No way, not them. The 9/11 hijackers, no, it couldn't have been them. Muhammad Atta, no way. We grilled out. He came over, we had beers, and we would joke about, well, you didn't cook any hot dogs on that grill, did you? At least not pork ones. No, it's never cooked. The San Bernardino killers. Those people they killed, they were friends and co-workers. They were generous. No, it couldn't have been them. It's not hate rhetoric. I have Muslims that live on my street that I wave to every day and speak to at the mailbox, and I'm kind and cordial to them. And they know it, and they'd say the same. I have friends. You'll see if you go to my Facebook, which I know that you have, it's open to everybody, not like yours. It's closed off and hidden and blocked and all that mess. No, everybody. I have pictures of me on Facebook. Not that anybody would want to see that. I'm not hiding from anyone. I'll stand and talk to Muslims who are good and kind and decent people, and I'll treat them as such. But I tell you what I won't do. I won't lie about who's causing all this death and destruction. And I would ask them if they were willing to talk to me, these people, if they were willing to actually sit down and talk to me, I'd say, now let me, at a baseline, you say that you know all about them. At a baseline, have you ever been in a 100% Muslim country? Have you ever how much time have you spent there? Well, I have. You say, no, you know all about Islam. Well, how many times have you read the Quran? Well, I've read each of the 3 top translations of the Quran, the most approved by Muslims translation of the Quran 4 times. You do the math, that's 12 times through. Have you read the Umdat al-Salik? Translated means the reliance of the traveler. Have you read that 1,300 plus page book written by the highest order of Muslims for Muslims to teach them how to be proper Muslims? Have you read that? Well, I've read it several times. Have you interviewed people who have committed acts of terrible terrorism? I have. Have you watched interviews of that? Uncut? I have. Well, then we're not starting on a level playing field now, are we? Listen, saying you know what all Muslims are like is tantamount to saying that all black people look the same, all white people look the same. It's a stupid thing. They don't. We don't. It's a cheap cop-out. But it is also true that their holiest of books, the writings and tenets that they hold dear, absolutely point to exactly what's happening in this world. And you know, my LGBT friends out there, I got to tell you, please, I implore you, read the documents that I just highlighted, because you are their target. Excuse me. You're their target. And they will use you as a useful idiot until such a time that they can no longer use you. And then they will tie a rope to you and they will throw you off a roof. That's what'll happen. That's exactly what'll happen. You can deny it all you want. You can say, no, I know. Many of you who are stirring all this stuff, you're still in college. You know what they said? They said, with this fake degree, this racist, bigoted, fascist, hate monger, anti-Islam, with his fake degree. I think y'all remember when Dr. Dennis D. Fry was on my show. I think you can remember that. You've heard me reference Dr. Ron Frazier, Dr. Skip Moen, and many others. Yeah, they're real professors. I'd stack masters up to anybody. And I won't apologize for it, not even a little bit. I taught that this weekend. Stop apologizing. Stop saying I'm sorry. You do something generally wrong, say I'm sorry. Be man or woman enough to say I'm sorry, but don't apologize for your emotions or for standing behind the truth. So that's what's up. I wish you could all come. I wish we could pile all of our listeners in there and have you stand with me at this CannaTalk that's going to be held at the American Legion Post 17 in Lewes, Delaware, spelled Lewes, Delaware. I don't want some fight. You call me a hater. I tell you what, I'm not a hater. I'm a kind and loving person. But if you mean to fight, believe you me, I do not backpedal, and I don't mean with words. You throw something at me, you try to harm me or anybody else in the audience, you will pay. And if you think I'm kidding, go ahead and mess around. These are good people who don't need trouble. You say you want free speech, you stand for free speech, here's somebody speaking freely. Disagree all you want, but stop this childish, pedantic, ignorant behavior. It is not becoming. You are not a hero. You are not a warrior. Even though your self-proclaimed social justice warriors will stand around you and say, yeah, look what we did. You ever watch that show, Portlandia? There's this guy named Fred Armisen. I'm going to try to get him on my show. Fred Armisen used to be on Saturday Night Live back when Saturday Night Live was good. He does an amazing show. This Portlandia, I've already buzzsawed through. It's on Netflix. I've already buzzsawed through 7 seasons. I'm about to finish up. I just found out about this show a couple weeks ago. I'm telling you, this show makes me laugh so hard. And really what he does is he pokes fun at liberal ideology and the way folks behave sometimes. And he is spot on. Spot on. And one of the things he makes fun of is how they'll do some action. This is what they call it. Social action. And they'll be so proud of themselves. Look what we did. Look what we did. And you see what they did. All they did is cause destruction. They didn't move the needle at all. They didn't advance their agenda. Not one bit. In fact, they set themselves backwards. They set themselves back. I often wonder, I do really often wonder, I wonder if at some point they'll ever be embarrassed of their behavior. It is a shame. They've got brains in their head. They could convert their life to something great, truly great. You want to do something great? Go help veterans. Go help veterans' families. Go help Gold Star families. You want to do something great? Go to a USO and volunteer. As the soldiers, military folks are traveling about the country, and they haven't been home in 2-3 years. You want to do something great? Go there, volunteer. Make them food. Talk to them. You want to do something great? Go help all the elderly people. Help one elderly person, for Pete's sake, that's struggling, that's lonely, that doesn't hear from any family member for weeks at a time. Help them. Give them a call. Go meet them. Spend some time with them. Not yelling and screaming at them about your stupid stuff that you're all fired up about. That honest to goodness is dumb. Help them. The American Legion does such good things. You know, people come there and veterans and stuff, and they're so kind. This American Legion Post 17, they're so nice to host this. I'm speaking there for free, folks. I'm not getting paid to be there. I'm not paying a security team to be there with me. People are doing that in their own volition. They're volunteering. I'm volunteering. They're volunteering. I was honored to be asked. I talk about many topics all across this country, and I can tell you this. I won't waste my time or your time by saying things that simply aren't true and calling me a racist, calling me a bigot, any of those things. It's simply not true. It's funny because one of them forwarded a link to one of my shows, The Real Truth About Islam, I think it was. But if you listen to the show, if you go back and you listen to the show, I don't say all Muslims want to kill you. And they post things. You know they didn't have the patience to sit and listen to 2 hours of radio. You know that they didn't. My blog post, you know that they're not patient. It's 140 characters, baby. Anything above is too long. Talk about fake heroes. There's stars that came out, these celebrities that came out after Harvey Weinstein was outed. They're now being hailed as heroes. And People magazine, I was getting my tires worked on at Paul Campanella Tire and Auto in Wilmington, Delaware. And I have to tell you, I was stunned. I was absolutely stunned when I looked down at the People magazine, which I don't read that, but they had these 4 stars in there. I'm not going to say their names. All right, one of them was Ashley Judd, and the other one was Angelina Jolie. You know, Ashley Judd with her vagina hats and her "I'm a naughty girl, I'm a dirty girl" speeches and all this mess. Come to find out, she was one of the air quotes victims of Harvey Weinstein. And yet she said nothing to anyone. How many women after her? Her lack of... I'll give you another one. Hanoi Jane Fonda. She said she was aware of Harvey Weinstein, but she's ashamed of herself to say she didn't have the courage to speak up. She had no problem sitting on an anti-aircraft gun in Vietnam with the Viet Cong and pretending to shoot down American aircraft. She had no problem with that. She had plenty of bravery. And now they come out and they say, yeah, we were abused by him. Really? That's kind of like earlier I said I'll give away a red Ford pickup truck if you know what movie it's from, and then after I've said what the answer is, saying the answer is this, I won. No, you didn't. You didn't win. You don't get the prize. Not everybody gets a prize. So now they want to be heroes. They're getting interviewed on the morning shows, and they're in People magazine, and they're saying what happened, and they're bravely coming forward. They're not brave. You know when it's time to be brave? When you can actually save countless others from being raped and sexually harassed. I'm not for any of that either, by the way. But isn't that something, how the left, boy, when they have this awful, awful person doing these awful, awful things, the left doesn't want to say anything about it. We've got to expose their hypocrisy, and then we've got to move forward. We've got to win. Listen, you want to talk about some hypocrites? I got to talk about Jeff Flakey and Corker, Bob Corker. They bravely came out yesterday and Corker a little while before and said, "Well, I can't stand with this administration and their lack of civility, and lack of decorum, and it's an embarrassment. I have my family to think about, and I'm not gonna run for re-election. Really, because neither of you were going to get elected. I have the sense that some bad stuff's going to come out about you in the very near future. You weren't going to get elected anyway." Thank you, Alaska. I'll be all right. Yeah, they come at me all the time. All the time. Multiple death threats a week. I get 26,000 plus emails a week, and of that, probably, 5-6% are, hate mail. Just real ignorant stuff. But we keep marching forward, man. Keep marching forward. As long as I have enough money to keep this thing going, I will keep it going. As long as I have air in my lungs, like that fellow with that lung transplant. Living life. Every one of these weekends I do with the Gold Star families, and I'm so privileged. I am so privileged to be invited to do it. I hope they invite me to do it again. We'll see. I'm reminded the preciousness of life. It's a real deal. But I tell you what's not real is these folks coming out talking about they're heroes now. Well, you're not a hero. When you would have been a hero as if when it was happening, when your career was in front of you, more of your career was in front of you than behind you, and you stepped up and you said, hey, you know what? This is going on. This has got to stop. I got to step in front of this. I can't allow this to happen. I've got to tell somebody so that somebody else isn't victimized by this man. It's so pro-women. They come out and they say all these terrible things. I don't understand the NFL. I don't understand the people that are supporting this when these are the same people that beat on their women. You got a video of a guy who literally beat his wife unconscious. I think it was his wife. I don't know if they're married or not. You look at the crimes within the NFL over just the past several years and you think, holy crap. National Felon League. People killing people with their cars. Hailed as heroes every Sunday. You don't have to pay. They're not heroes. That list I read, those are heroes. But Jeff Flake, I mean, he is flaky. He's got the right name. I don't think that guy's right in his head. I really don't. Now they're saying he's hinting at running for president in 2020. You got to be kidding me, man. You cannot get reelected in your own district. That's why you're bailing. And you'll see other reasons. Hey, let me just put it this. You remember the thing at Central Michigan University? I talked about it when it happened, and it was racial epithets, racist things painted on. You know, a full 82%. I said this then, I'll say it again now. A full 82% of those are committed by, it comes to find out later when it's investigated and adjudicated, 82% of those are self-propelled. In other words, those are crimes that are designed to draw attention away from them and toward racism. So they do it. It's just like Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious designed to be promote anti-gun sentiment. They caught the guy. It's a black guy. 82% of the time committed, perpetrated by that affinity group. Yeah, 82%. At some point or another, we have to start saying, okay, before we're going to be outraged on this, let us just see what develops here. Let us just see. Folks, we got to take a beat. We got to take a pause. We got to take a breath and say, okay, now this is alleged to have happened. Let us make sure that this is true. Before we go into righteous indignation mode, before we start claiming racism and something has to happen. We've talked about it before. The situation at the University of Delaware where these people were whining and complaining that these little 4-inch wire lantern holders, paper lantern holders, were designed to be nooses as a racist thing. And then all these other things were alleged. None of it was true. And they knew it when they said it. They did know it when they said it. The police had already told them, no, it's not what it is. They're leftover. They tried to, this Japanese or Asian American organization had this festival here at the same place, and they had these little lanterns, but they couldn't get the lamps, all of them they couldn't get down intact. They couldn't get it down, so the little wire, and I'm telling you, the whole thing was 4 inches. Literally 4 inches. Thank you, Imran Salim from Pakistan, for your support. I appreciate it. Just got a message from him. I appreciate that. Thank you for your support and your encouragement. We encourage you. Converted Christian, he's preaching and helping children learn to read and teaching people scripture. Amazing. Thank you, brother. Look, I don't know about you. I do not know about you, but I know about me. I know who I am. I know what I am. But I can tell you, all of this mess, it's wasting our future. It is. It's wasting our future. It's wasting our country, the resource of our country. So much is being wasted on this. Listen, folks, the enemy that's outside these borders wants to see us fighting. They want to see us having to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on security so that a person can come in and have free speech. There was a person on Facebook. Welcome, Florida, by the way. Florida, New York, Alaska, Australia. Wow, we got a couple from New Zealand. Amazing. Thank you, folks, for listening. We appreciate it. God bless you. Yeah, the banana peel in the tree. Sanford Butler on Twitter. Follow Sanford on Twitter. Never forget the banana peel in the tree, which those on the left saw as racist. We're robbing ourselves. We're weakening ourselves as a nation. when we do this, when we allow it. That's why I say stand up to it. I say never back down. Do not back down. You know why the left does what they do with increasing violence, bullying, all of the things they accuse us of? Because they're not afraid of us. They aren't. All the things they say we are, they know we won't do to them because we're decent. You're exactly right, Craig from New York. They did not learn that from 44. He said, go out, stir things up. Do what you got to do. Agitate. It's pitiful. So one of these, you guys know, I think it was last Thursday it might have been. No, not last Thursday, maybe Thursday before. University of Florida, this fellow named Richard, I can't remember even what his last name is, but he's a white nationalist, they say. I haven't read a whole lot of his stuff, but it doesn't matter. He was invited there to speak. The man comes there to speak, free speech. And I'm not defending him. I don't know enough about what he does or says. He's allegedly a conservative. I don't know if he is or he isn't. But he went there to the University of Florida, and I have friends all around there, and couldn't even go eat in peace. Couldn't even go eat in peace because of all the crazy stuff going on. And then people get caught with guns and on campus and people harming people and doing damage. And they had to change their life. They had to change their life, a little part of their life, a celebration. They had to change it because of all this foolishness going on. It's not right, folks. It's not right. Peaceful demonstration is one thing. But this is not peaceful. Folks, you stand in front of cars and you throw bricks and rocks at cars and you put sticks, you put nails and sticks, and that's not peaceful. And we don't need to stand for it. And my friends, the police are outnumbered, big time. I mean to tell you, they are outnumbered. What in the world are they going to do? We need to augment their force. We need to stand with them. We need to stand with them. We need to support them. Why do you think they're all the time trying to tear down the police? Well, I'll tell you why. Because the weaker that force is, the less oppositional force and interventional force that will come against them when they start doing really terrible things. November 4th, supposed to be this big uprising where they're going to unseat the President of the United States, President Donald J. Trump. They say they're going to kill white people. There's all kinds of groups, ANTIFA, BLM, New Black Panthers, all these things. They say they're going to yank him from office. And they're going to kill white people, and they're going to do all these other things, and they're going to take over. I tell you right now, you better have a plan. I kid you not, you had better have a plan. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm dead serious about this. You say, well, they look funny. They got funny colored hair. They're anti-guns. They probably won't have guns. Listen, folks, they have more guns than you think they have. You understand all these big time shootings are all committed by the left. You want to cut mass shootings and by 90%? Make it so they can't get guns. Apparently gun laws aren't that big of a deal. At some point or another, folks, we have to start standing up and supporting our police and augmenting what they're doing. You say, well, they say not to bother. Well, no. Just don't be stupid. I still remember a fight I had with a guy. I was a police officer at the time, and he was high on PCP. I'm telling you, he was bigger than me anyway. And you guys that know me know I'm not terribly petite. I just want to tell you, I pulled this guy over because he was driving like a wild man. I pulled him over, and it smelled like cat urine in his car, and I thought, here we go, PCP. And sure enough, in the middle of the day, 11:05, in the middle of the day, we're rolling around. I'm fighting this guy because, it gives them superhuman strength, literally. And I'm fighting with this guy, and back then I could bench press 340 pounds. I could rep with 340 pounds. I was nobody to fool with. And I can tell you, this guy was strong, and he was committed. And for several minutes in the middle of the day, people would drive by honking their horns, going, "Get out of the way." Meanwhile, there's a full police car and fully marked, lights on, and a uniformed police officer rolling around on the ground trying to subdue this guy who is trying to kill me. And finally, a guy comes up. He was a retired Delaware State Trooper. Guy comes up, and he says, "I'm a retired trooper. How can I help?" And I asked him, I said, some of the ways you all support me, encourage me is so sweet. Thank you so much. Some of the notes I get, that's awesome. That's just awesome. Well, I'm rolling around with this guy, and this Delaware State Trooper retired guy comes up and he helps me out. What's crazy to me is that so many people during the middle of the day would just drive by. They wouldn't get on, wouldn't call, wouldn't say, "Hey, you got a police officer in trouble here." And eventually I got him subdued, but it was nice to have a guy there that was willing to jump in. That guy was going to kill me. He even said so. Once he came down off his PCP, he says, "Yeah, I don't know, I freaked out." He turned out to be a drug dealer, giving drugs to kids, PCP to kids. Look, we've got to support our police. The bad guys have to know. And yes, social activists, social warriors, you are absolutely the bad guy. You're not a warrior. You're a bad guy. Find a better way. There's no reason for you to behave the way that you do. Think it through. Maybe you've been a misfit in your life. Maybe you've never fit in, and now you fit in with this demographic that says, this is somewhere I fit. These people in this group look at me like a hero when I get out there and I do these things. My speech tomorrow, I was invited by an 11-year-old little girl. It's her foundation. That email you gave out, that phone number you gave out, that's her phone number. That's her email. A little 11-year-old girl. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. She's sweet as she can be. And the help that I could potentially provide, listen, I call it the 3 C's: conservative, Christian, cannabis. You know how many people out there who are desperate for a solution, who've never found it in traditional pharmaceuticals? They've never found it, never been a help to them, only caused them problem and addiction, and they've hidden from what could help them because of the stupid stigma associated with it? Do you know how many people I can help? Do you know how many veterans kill themselves per day? 22 a day on average from PTS. How many could be helped? Do you have any idea how many listeners I lost? The first show I did where I came out in support of cannabis and medical, and I told the story about I'm a medical cannabis card holder. I lost over 280,000 listeners in 11 minutes. In 11 minutes. 280,000 plus. I looked at the graphic. It went from 1.855 million and dropped by over 280,000 in 11 minutes. When this dear lady came on this show talking about Riley Smile and her experience with her daughter, trying to save her daughter's life, Jay Maidler of Riley Smile Foundation, in 11 minutes, 280,000 plus. Yeah, lots of closed minds, Jerry. You're exactly right. Unbelievable. Change your life. Look at how you're doing things and why you're doing them, what your motivation is, and ask yourself, am I really giving value? And listen, you can, it's just like salvation. You can be the dirtiest of souls, and Christ can wash you clean. God, Hashem, can cleanse you. The thief on the cross, the one was cursing and swearing at Christ, at Yeshua HaMashiach. He was swearing at him, the innocent one. He's swearing at him, jeers, all of that. And yet, the other one deserved to be there. The one on the other side, he deserved to be. Father, remember me when you come into your kingdom. And Yeshua said, even this day you shall be with me in paradise. You can turn on a dime, folks. And I'm saying, I know that you all are listening. You protesters are listening because you're looking for whatever you can cling to, whatever soundbite you can pull out. Whatever confirmation bias you have, I'm telling you, you can make something of value out of your life. But you got to start today. Anybody that knows me knows I'd be the first person to help you. If you were stuck alongside the road or you had been in a car crash, and I'd risk my life. I'd give my life trying to save your life. You think I'm kidding? Listen, I have over almost 13,000 contacts on my phone. I guarantee you call 80% of them, they'll tell you the same thing about me. Not that I'm anything special. I'm not trying to say that. What I'm trying to say is you are going about it the wrong way. You're headed a wrong direction, and you need to turn around. You need to stop first. And then you need to turn around and say, this is not the way I want to, this is not what I want to be known for in my life. This is not the legacy that I want to lead. Life is short and something sacred hangs in the balance of every moment. Is this what you really want your life to be represented by? Do you really feel like a hero at night when you lay your head down on the pillow, wherever it is you lay? Some of you I know are old enough you should have your own house. You should have your own real job. You shouldn't be using your mama's Wi-Fi. You shouldn't be eating your mama's food and letting your mother wash your clothes for you. You're old enough. That time is coming past. You got to launch now. You've got to launch now. You've got to stop being what, when you truly mature, you've got to stop being what will embarrass you at that time. That's a fact. That's reality. And you know what? Here's the thing, whether you choose to adopt, I'm a follower of the way, but whatever faith it is you choose to adopt, if you choose to adopt a faith that believes in God, a redeeming Christ, all of those things that make our faith very different and very special, or you don't, do the right thing. Stop doing the wrong thing under the pretense that you're some sort of social justice warrior. You're not. You are not helping anyone. You're not advancing your cause. And your mind is closed. My friend Jerry from Pennsylvania, my dear, dear friend from one of the very best friends I've ever had in my whole life. I swear, guy's top notch. Personal responsibility. You've got to start taking personal responsibility. You've got to understand that, hey, look, we're not going to agree on everything. That doesn't mean a thing. If someone was beating you up, you hadn't started it, someone's beating you up, I'm going to step in. I'm not going to allow an innocent person to get beat up. I may disagree with everything you say and do, but I'm not going to allow you to be harmed. Would you do the same for me, or would you whip out your iPhone and start videoing and become a social justice hero, an internet hero, a YouTube sensation, counting your hits as though it's money in your bank, and it's not? I forgot to mention this. We have free apps. Yeah, we give it away here too. Free apps. The announcement for the show, you will see there are links there. If you're on a PC or a Mac and you don't have a smartphone, the smartphone apps won't help you. We have Android apps and we have iTunes apps. They're very fast to load. They're completely compatible with the newest software. They load in less than a minute, and it's super easy to follow. If you get the app, go there, click on subscribe or follow or whatever the wording is, and leave a comment. Now, don't leave foul language. I'm going to delete you and block you if you do that. I'm not going to. This person on what is that guy's name? The University of Florida, the guy that was coming, Pierce maybe. Coming to Florida, and they had to do all this stuff, and friends of mine had to change where they were going and alter everything, and it ruined the celebration. All these different things are happening. Hundreds of thousands of dollars being spent. Everybody's got to change their life. Did you accomplish anything? No. You just look like a fool. You look like a fool. And you say you believe in free speech. You've got to be kidding me. You believe in free speech and civility? You've got to be kidding me. Please, you've got to be smarter than that. That's a path to destruction. I'm telling you right now, it's a path to destruction. Why not change your life? Why not actually go out into the highways and byways and start helping people? Homeless people. Veterans, the elderly. Why not start doing that? Why not start applying yourself to something truly, truly good? Yes, you're going to disagree with me, but that doesn't mean it's hate speech. You have been told a lie by your professors or whoever else is telling you these things. You've been told a lie. You go ahead and get the app. It's free. You don't have to pay for it. The Android app, iPhone app is free. But if you don't have an iPhone or an Android phone, you just listen on your laptop or your desktop. Spreaker.com/the-ninja-pastor-radio-show. It's out there on social media. It's all over the place. It's on the announcement of the show that got sent out to everybody on God's green earth. Man, change your ways, will you? Change your ways. Don't waste your life on this. I'm telling you, there are going to come a time where you're going to be embarrassed. I want to say this before I close the show, and that is to the Gold Stars who were there. Many of them, we shared meals after the event, and I have to tell you, you all inspire me. You all inspire me. I'm not kidding you. You inspire me. You know, I boohooed quite a bit, seeing your pain and hearing your stories, but I'm lifted by your bravery. I am lifted by your bravery. Each day, every day, we're together in this. I won't abandon you. Till I draw my last breath, I'm not going to abandon you. Stay strong and stay together. Don't say you're sorry. What great people. Man, oh man. Friends. Many of you will be friends forever. And it's a privilege and it's an honor. And many of you, all of you, I count as my friend. I just want the volunteers, the ones I think they don't like for me to say their name because they're humble. They're so flippin' humble. So generous and so amazing, but humble. But you know who you are. And for all the others, my goodness, I am awed by your generosity. Your giving and your generosity blows my mind. It touches my soul. And I see people like you, and all this stuff was going on when I was out there. A lot of you that were there probably saw me on my phone a lot, and I'm having to deal with all this mess. And the poor lady's trying to decide whether or not she's going to move forward with this and have me still speak. I felt bad for her. I don't feel guilty. I'm not sorry. I didn't bring this on her. Those people did. I don't feel a bit responsible. Not a bit responsible. This is of their doing. I don't. I don't feel a bit responsible. Don't you feel guilty for putting this woman? I didn't put this woman through anything. This dear sweet lady, I think the world of her. And I think the world of her dear sweet child. But I didn't push this on them. I told her, I said, if you feel like you must cancel my appearance, that's okay. I'm not going to be mad at you. Not one bit. I won't begrudge you. But if you release a statement, do not throw me under the bus. Because I'm none of those things that they say that I am. None of it. I am none of those things, and I never have been. Let me also, I want to thank Charlie and Marianne Strange and Michael Quinn of the MichaelStrangeFoundation.org. MichaelStrangeFoundation.org. You want to do something with your life? Give some money to them. Yeah, we need money to keep the show going and do what we do. Much of it we do for free. But listen, if you're choosing between them and me, choose them. MichaelStrangeFoundation.org. Amazing. Amazing. Well, God bless you too, Alaska. Thank you so much. What an honor. All of you in chat today. Good to have you. It's just an honor. I am awed by the fact somebody will spend 2 hours listening to me prattle on, but so many of you do, and it just blows my mind. Remember to leave a comment or a testimonial if you've heard me speak in public. Put a comment in there. Put a testimonial or review, whatever you want to do. I sure appreciate it. If you're on social media with me, please feel free to do that. Share this link and your comments about the show. It means the world to me. It really, really does. God bless you all. Hang in there, good people of America. We ain't done yet.
Dr. Greener returns next Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And in the meantime, he'll be working to restore your freedom and your liberty. He will engage in the collision of faith and politics for you and with you. In the meantime, remember to follow him on Twitter @TheNinjaPastor and follow him on Facebook. Dr. Greener's controversial book, Excellence Killed the Church: How Mediocrity is Destroying America, is available on Amazon and at other fine booksellers. Or you can get a copy directly through his website, www.drshawngreener.com, where you can also listen to interviews and speeches and messages free of charge. Show archives are available on iTunes through drshawngreener.com.